Hey everybody, let's talk job search anxiety, okay? The mind games. Oh, the mind games. It boggles the mind, and maybe your mind has been boggled. And what I mean by this is if you've gone to a job interview and people haven't called you back after the interview, after 1 day or 2 days or 3 days or longer, and all during that time, your brain is playing tricks on you. You feel sometimes extreme anxiety, extreme stress, and it's not just causing you mental health issues, it even manifests itself as a physical health issue too. And this is not simply a footnote in the whole job search thing. This is very important because if something is so unpleasant that it affects how much time you put into your job search, it affects what activities you do during your job search. Because if something is so unpleasant to us, we're going to shy away from it. We're not going to do it, and it's going to affect what we do. And that's why this is important, not just for the comfort factor here, but for the effectiveness of being able to find a job. And this is a really important issue. A lot of people, if they're not getting a call back from a job, maybe it's a really good job that they really want, or because of their situation, they're just feeling anxiety and stress as it is because of their employment situation. This is linked to feelings of self-worth, and a lot of times people feel unemployable. I don't know if you've been there in that situation where you went for a job interview and you're pretty vulnerable to begin with, and it's compounded by the fact that they're not calling you back, or they don't call you back as soon as you're expecting, or maybe even they ghost you. They don't call you back at all. And I've done videos on that. But let's get into this, because I've received a lot of messages from people that contact me, people that are doing job searches. And usually what they do is they'll send a big, long story about precisely how their interview went and exactly what happened. And they want to know, understandably, what does this mean? Does that mean they're taking their time and calling me back and they're going to, or does it mean that they're passing on me? And the problem is that type of question is basically unanswerable. So let me break it down, my advice for people in that situation and the reality of the situation, and maybe trying to help you put the problem in perspective. Okay, now listen, the reality is that you are not unemployable. You are employable, okay? I don't care who you are, and I'm talking to you, the person watching this video, okay? You are employable. You have value. Everybody has a unique collection of skills, traits, experiences, abilities that make you unique, okay? And out there is a job that you're perfect for, okay? The big challenge is being able to find that job and be able to connect with the employer for that job. And the problem is that there's, the big question here is not whether you're employable. It's not whether your prospects look good. It's, are you what these people were looking for? Okay, that's really what everybody's wondering. Okay, it's not a question of are you employable. It's not a question of do you have value? The question is, are you what these people at this specific job were looking for? Okay, so let's be clear. What the issue is. Okay. Now, listen, the reality is that you don't know the reasoning of the people that interviewed you. Okay. You just don't, whether they're recruiters, whether they're hiring managers. Some people kind of have a clue when it comes to being able to assess people, but a lot of people honestly don't. Okay, and you can take this from me. I've taught this stuff, as I never tire of saying. I've taught this stuff in universities. I've been the CEO of a smaller company, and the reality is that we are horrible as a group at assessing people, especially in a job interview. It's just such a poor way of assessing somebody's abilities and their personality and who they are. It's just so bad. And compounding the problem is that a lot of people their reasoning for how they assess somebody, first of all, it varies considerably from person to person, organization to organization, industry to industry, and role to role. It varies considerably how they assess a person and what they're looking for. And a lot of times, their way of assessing somebody is completely out to lunch, okay? Their reasoning is often wrong, okay? And both of those things vary considerably. And, on top of it, the big question of, are you the person they're looking for? Are you the type of person that they're looking for? A lot of times, they're looking... You could ask a question, are they looking for the right type of person that they need? And the answer often is no. They need a certain type of person that would be good in that job. But unfortunately, for whatever reason, they are looking for a different type of person. Okay, someone unbeknownst to them that would actually not be very good in that role. They would not be optimal, but that's who they're looking for. Okay, so compounding all of this, okay, people are asking, are they going to pick me based on my interview? And that is unanswerable. That is unknowable. Okay. Now, I mean that in a good way. In a good way. This has nothing to do with your value. Okay. As you can see, we've already introduced 3 things into it. What are their expectations? What are their reasoning? And what type of person they're looking for? And all 3 of those could totally skew this thing. And then, on top of that, they may call you, they may not call you. There's all kinds of political things a lot of times going on. They might be considering internal candidates. They might be considering a friend of the boss. There's all that kind of stuff that goes on. And even if you are not selected, the odds of getting any kind of feedback are pretty minimal. And then the odds of getting honest feedback are usually non-existent. So that's the situation. Okay. So having said that, what's the advice here? What should you do? Okay. Now, this is what I tell people because this is basically the reality. Now, first of all, if you're stressing out about this, okay, the reality is that you're reading too much into it. You're placing too much importance on this selection process. Now, I know that hearing this doesn't instantly change how you feel, and it's not going to. Okay, you feel what you feel, and that's just how it goes. And it's good to be honest with yourself. Okay, but we can do certain activities that help us feel differently. And one of those activities is to quickly move on to try and create more opportunities for yourself. Okay, so instead of constantly thinking about and stressing about something that's happened in the past, an interview that you've just done, and it's a situation where you are powerless to affect it. You cannot influence the outcome at all anymore. Okay, so rather than mulling that over and going it over and over in your mind, focus on the next thing. Focus on getting more interviews for you, finding more job opportunities, okay? Because this is something you can affect and will be universally good. Whichever way you slice this, it's going to be better for you. The more opportunities you have, the more chances, the more throws of the dice that you create for yourself, okay? If they call you back, great, okay? If they don't call you back, then, don't read too much into it. Don't focus on this. The thing to do is to see if you can make the next thing happen, okay? Now, a lot of people that have contacted me with this precise problem, okay? Something I've noticed in a lot of cases, and that is that they seem to be employing one method to find a job, okay? A lot of first-time job seekers that are doing like the first career job coming right out of school, and some people in their 20s and early 30s, a trend I've noticed is that they seem to be responding to job postings as their way of finding a job. Okay, now that's not bad, but you're really limiting yourself. The vast majority of jobs that people get are you obtain those through networking. And before you turn this video off upon hearing that, let me explain very quickly that networking does not depend on you knowing a million people and being close friends with a million people who are powerful. Okay, that's not what networking is. Networking includes many things, but the thing that I recommend that people use it for is to go around the HR hierarchy in a lot of organizations. Okay, if you are having issues being able to get a call back, if you have issues getting an interview in the first place, and then you have issues getting a call back after you've done your interviews, okay, the great news that you might be missing is that this is not the only way to get a job, and it's actually one of the less successful ways of getting a job, okay? The way to do it is to contact people within organizations that are hiring managers, and you go your own way. You don't go through standard channels, and this is surprisingly easy to do, okay? Now, when you do this, you're demonstrating all kinds of great things: professionalism, initiative, all kinds of things, okay? I have a ton of videos on how to do this, and I'm going to be going over this again in the next few videos I do, because I think not enough people know about this. So just remember, if you are feeling anxiety, if you are stressed out over some very important job that they are not calling you back for, or they're not moving as soon or as quickly as you would like, don't expend all your energy mulling over something that happened. Focus on creating new opportunities, getting more interviews, and getting more opportunities to become hired, okay? That's what really helps. It makes you feel a lot more positive about the entire situation. It feels like you're making progress, and it also reduces the importance of this dreaded interview that you're placing so much importance on that they're not calling you back for. Okay, hopefully that helps. Thank you so much for watching. Remember, each and every one of you guys is awesome, and I will see you on the next video. Take care.